who plays Geronimo. It's one of the most powerful, beautiful, uncensored movies I've ever seen. Of course, they got the white boy and the whole. But you have to watch it. It's called Geronimo, an American Legend. How many of you saw the movie Avatar? Come on, put up your hands. A beautiful 3D James Cameron multi-billion-dollar movie. Shit was hype. Blue people. Who saved him? A white boy. Crippled white boy goes in. He kills the dragon. He gets the best-looking girl, and he civilizes the savages. Same thing as Dancing with Wolves. The white boy goes in. The white boy is God because you've been conditioned since you were a child to believe the white boy is God. Look at Avatar. Billions of dollars. Look at this message. The white boy is God. Don't take my word for it. Watch the movie. Dancing with Wolves. The white man saves them ignorant savages. Well, guess what? We were here for 100,000 years and we lived very good. And unlike the Europeans, we washed every day. They washed once a year on their birthday. You don't believe me? Go back and check. Am I lying? Any more questions? Going once, twice. I'm out of here. Come on. Yes, sir.
I got a question.
Yes, brother.
Why do you think the Kardashians and all that kind of stuff, why do you think they're teaching this thing to the women to be prostitutes and all that kind of stuff? What benefit is it to these 100 families?
If you have sisters
And daughters.
if you have sisters like the sisters that we train and the sisters that we work with, and you have enough of them, and they teach the other women, because I can't take this sister and teach her. She's a sister. Another sister has to teach her. But I can train her, and she can teach her, and she can teach her, and Raquel knows. We cannot be defeated if our women cannot be defeated. By weakening and prostituting and making our women immoral and sinful and stupid and whorish and doing things for money and fame and brainwashing them and making them weak and countering the women's liberation movement, the 100 families retain power. Gandhi, Dr. King, Bob Marley, all these people, they reached into our hearts and souls and they told us we're more than that. More shall be expected of us. I have certain gifts. I share those gifts. And once our women are liberated to the point where they do not buy into the Kardashian whores and all these other whores that are glorified. You don't see any shows on TV that show Ramona Africa or Nina Simone or Aretha Franklin. They have these shows of the lowest, scabbiest women in the universe, and they glorify them as beautiful. Once our women are liberated, they can work on our men because they raise our children. So the best way to weaken our children is weaken the women. Make her call herself a bitch. Make her think like a bitch. I'm a bad bitch. A bitch is a female dog. Once you get that, she's exactly like that young man with his ass cheeks sticking out. She's no longer salvageable. She is no longer savable. She is past salvation because her brain is gone. Next question.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I don't really have a question. I just wanted to thank you for expressing to everyone.
I love the word thank you.
Yeah. Oh, I wanted to thank you for expressing to everyone in here about the power of the human spirit.
Yes.
That's in all of us that we just need to
Do
tap
you realize
into.
we all got God in us?
Yeah.
Do you realize the love we have in us? Do you realize that the people in this room alone could change the goddamn world? Do you realize that?
Definitely.
Before you kill an enemy or destroy an enemy, you got to acknowledge the power of that enemy. And before you change your situation, you got to be aware of your situation. And before I can liberate you as a slave, I must first make you understand that you're a slave. Once you understand you're a slave, then you want to kill the master. You want to kill his family. You want to kill his whole goddamn structure. But as long as you're happy and content, you got your 52-inch TV, you got your fly sneakers, you got tattoos all over your body, you got, you got your little weed on the weekend, you got. But the minute, the second, that you realize you're a slave, you lose your fear of death. And once you lose your fear of death, and you regain your love for your people, there's not a force on this goddamn earth that can stop you. But you first have to understand that you're a slave.
Makes sense.
Thank you, bro.
Something I would do for you.
One of the major things we find in like the positive true school side of hip hop, and I know that I'm only asking because I know that you've been through all this. I mean, is the opposition of these duplicate rappers. You know what I mean? Because I find that now.
You call them duplicate rappers?
That's what they are, duplicates.
I love that. I love that.
Because back then it was like about, like you said, it's about talent and style and talent and what you could do. But now it's more about who can copy better. You know, whether it be rap, not just hip hop, it's rap, Justin Bieber, whoever. It's who can copy better. You know what I mean? So you have someone that comes out, for instance, like an original rap, I can't really say that about the breaking, because breaking's always been who's more original, so you can't even say that about that. And same with DJ in a way, but the DJ's at fault, you see. I just want to point out the DJ, because you see, a lot of people like to attack the rapper and say the rapper this, the rapper that, you know what I mean? Which is true, the rapper's talking a lot of trash, but the DJ is also like the guy that's actually the highway, and I mean, he's the one that has to, like, he has to stop, go with the red, green, yellow light, you know what I mean? It's the DJ that sit down and play that thing, you know what I mean? So like many DJs, they're just, I just find it funny that, you know, you can go to this city, this city, this city, this city, this city, everywhere in this country anyway, I could talk. And for some reason, you can go to this club, this club, this club, and it almost sounds like it's the same song, same song, same song.
It is. It's the same top 20 songs.
So it's like some kind of duplicate.
Too, just not to cut you, but a lot of it is labels are hiring DJs, right?
Yeah.
Giving them contracts
Yes,
as
yeah.
well.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So like I
right.
just think if the hip hop on a whole, you know, get the message out for everybody to know that. Like it's the DJs that you have to start attacking. Not attacking, but you know what I mean?
never even thought of that.
You know what I'm saying?
That's powerful, because the rapper does make the music, but it's the DJ that spreads it, transmits it like a virus.
Yeah, he's the one that's, you know, the one that, you know, and he's in there playing the thing, right? Like, you know him, right?
Yeah.
We're at a club, okay? And literally, we actually guessed, okay, you know what? I bet you Biggie Smalls coming on next. Because it got to that point now. You know what I mean? I almost think they got like some kind of DJ
Playlist.
academy. Yes, you know what I mean? Where you just press play on the thing and you, like this song, you can say, okay, Biggie's next. And if you hear that Biggie song, then this Kim song is coming on for sure. You know what I mean? Or if it's not coming on next, it's coming on next. You know what I'm
These
saying?
guys aren't DJs, I call them CD players. Or
Yeah, the CD players, you know what I mean?
All they do is push a button, you're hearing a mix, the DJ's having a drink, talking to a girl, and I'm hearing a mix happening at the same time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and
So a lot of these guys are just bringing pre-mixed CDs
Pre-mixed
to clubs,
CDs, they're not really
and
doing
calling
the DJ
themselves
thing.
even DJs, which is another disrespect to hip
to the actual art, you know?
You know what I'm saying?
And then-
That
and then-
these guys aren't even DJs.
I was teaching at McMaster University for approximately 8 years. I can't remember exactly, but approximately 8 years of like hip hop, right? And I always say this is like, they have a class called hip hop there, you know? And I went to check it out, you know? And when I sat there, it was like, you don't have to continue,
I
right?
can see your face.
You don't have, I see the Running Man and this, you know, all that stuff. And I'm like, okay, I don't mind them teaching what they teach, but you should call it freestyle dancing or something. Because when you call it hip hop and you go there and you're not seeing a DJ class and a rapping class and a
Well,
graph
they
class,
have
you know?
what they call hip-hop magazines, which don't have nothing to do with hip-hop. They have hip-hop radio stations, which ain't got nothing to do with hip-hop. They have hip-hop DJs that ain't got nothing.
Yeah.
That's like me saying, you know, I'm a Swedish artist, and I've never been to Sweden.
Never
I
been
mean,
to
it's
Sweden.
like, that's, you know, mental infirmary. How you gonna say you're hip-hop and you ain't never been to a Zulu Nation anniversary? How you gonna say you're hip-hop and don't nobody know you in the hip-hop community?
Yeah.
And you don't know Zulu, and you ain't never been to the Temple of Hip Hop, and you don't play KRS-One or Immortal Technique or Bambaataa or Rakim, you know, they don't even know who they are. And they don't know who Kool Herc is, and they don't know anything about the history, the culture, the language, and they don't understand that this is liberation music.
Yeah.
This is the voice of the voiceless, and until and unless people understand that and use it as a weapon,
Yeah.
because we have limited weapons, but at the same time we have unlimited weapons because the human mind is unlimited. The human spirit is unlimited. So they may have nuclear weapons. Bob Marley said it best. Remember? Have no fear for atomic energy.
Yeah.
He's dissing the
remember, yeah.
atomic energy. He said, have no fear of atomic energy because none of us can tell the time. So here's Bob Marley, little skinny roster, weighs about 140 pounds, and he's dissing nuclear energy.
Yeah.
Because he's saying only we can free our minds. Have no fear of atomic energy. That's the last song he did before they killed him, Redemption Song.
Interesting, yeah.
Remember, listen to the lyrics of that. And I keep using Bob Marley because he's a little skinny kid with no money. He didn't have 2 dimes in his pocket.
Talk out to the world.
And he talked to the whole world. Why? Because he found his power. And his power spoke to the world.
And once you find your power, there's no force on earth that can silence you.
Wouldn't you find it like disrespectful in a sense that for a university, the reason I'm pinpointing the university and the DJ, because a university is supposed to teach you education and stuff, you know what I mean? And for a university to say they have a hip hop class and for them not to actually, because I'm not talking one university, there's many universities, they have a hip hop class and they don't go and actually put a hip hop
don't include the
thing
culture,
in
the
there,
people.
the hip hop history and all stuff. Isn't that disrespect as a academy of education and things?
How can you, at this point in our history, look towards a university
I don't look towards it, I'm
or
just
a
going to point it out.
college and expect them to do anything but perpetuate
What's going on?
those things that get them grants from either alumni or from corporations. So the minute they go counter to the corporations or counter to those alumni who have made it, and they're no longer doing that, but they're teaching a liberation theology, then, you know, that's a free college, that's a free university. Those are as rare as finding girls with purple eyes. It's rare, it happens, but it's rare.
So do you feel like we should be trying to like digress from the mainstream and not be part of the system and
Create your own system. Create your own power. Create your own universities. Here we are in 2012 and we don't have a hip-hop university. Here we are in 2012, we don't have hip-hop doctors. Here we are in 2012, we don't have hip-hop lawyers. Here we are in 2012, we don't have hip-hop priests and scholars.
I'm surprised that in the Bronx, particularly, they're trying to fight for a museum at the Kingsbridge.
That's
And
correct.
I'm surprised that you don't have like hundreds and hundreds of people lined up signing that petition.
Because they would rather watch the Kardashians.
I am surprised, I'm surprised.
Because they would rather
or even when
drink
Herc was
wine.
sick, right?
Even
Herc was sick.
Nobody
Puff
wanted.
Daddy's like cleaning bill could have took care of his medical costs. And
Brother, I was
none of those
fighting
guys
cancer
came.
the same time that Kool Herc had his problem. They did fundraisers for us. I think for me, they collected maybe $4,000. That's worldwide, $4,000.
These guys are
From
claiming.
Kool Herc, they claimed they might have gotten $3,000 or $4,000. We're talking about the entire universe, and that's what African Bambaataa calling an emergency meeting and putting that word out. So I expect nothing from no one, and Kool Herc expected nothing from no one. And my point is that we have to rely on self. We have to rely on the love and the strength of our community, create our own. And don't go to their universities, don't go to their churches, don't go to anything that has to do with them. They're your enemy and your oppressor. And the only way that you ever get freedom is by whooping your oppressor's ass. And that's historic, and that's not my thought. And that's why I brought up Gandhi, a little skinny brother with no clothes, had a diaper on. And he threw the British out.
Person I want to say, when you said that earlier, I was saying a good example for that would be Bruce Lee and the Chinese people, what he's done image-wise, and he flipped the whole coin on
And
them.
I don't think he weighed 130 pounds.
120 maybe. But,
120.
I mean, but I'm talking about the way I'm just saying.
But what did Bruce Lee do?
He flipped.
He's a little skinny cat, but he found his power.
Yeah.
What did Gandhi do? Little skinny cat, he found his power.
Yeah,
That's the
flip,
key.
flip the whole coin.
What did Sojourner Truth do? She found her power and she liberated the slaves. Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X, throughout
person,
history.
one person,
Bob
one person,
Marley,
one
I
person,
could go
yeah.
on. Miles Davis, John Coltrane, myself, Africa Bambaataa. We found our power, and we, if you look throughout history, prophets were always those who were the least amongst the people. There was never a king that got up and became a prophet. It was always the least. It was always the rejected. And I didn't say it tonight, but I've said it in hundreds of interviews and lectures, to compare me to the cornerstone. And in the theology of the Freemasons, the master builders, and what they do is they build these buildings, magnificent buildings. But there's a master mason that looks at the stones and looks at the stones and says, this stone is not perfect, we're not going to put it in the building. This stone is not perfect, we're not going to put it in the building. This stone is perfect, we'll put it in. But at the end, when the building is done, and they need a cornerstone that has the date and the time and the name of the architect and the name of the builders, they take an imperfect stone and they put it in the corner, and that's called a cornerstone. And that's what I am, and that's what these brothers are, Gandhi and all these other people. I'm not honorable like them, but I'm saying each of us has found our power, and we are that cornerstone, that less than perfect stone, that stone that the builder refused. And even Bob Marley talked about the stone that the builder refused. And nobody understood what he was saying. I am the stone that the builder refused. Well, I am the stone that the builder refused. I was voted least likely to do anything. I was voted most likely to go to jail. And throughout my youth, I was the least likely to do anything. I'm the most likely now to help wake people up. That's why I never say I'm a leader. I'm an alarm clock. I wake you up. What you do when you're awake is your business. And because my mind, my heart, and my spirit, and my voice are united, I've been able to speak around the world.
It's like important to put somehow inject spirituality or bring like intelligence back in. You know what I mean? Somehow, I don't know how, but somehow you have to bring back that raised intelligence because like they keep on bringing things down, lowering.
Yes. They want you to be ashamed of being articulate. They want you to be ashamed of being intelligent. Absolutely. Intelligence is now looked at as a joke. Pharoah Monch had a song, I believe it was Pharoah Monch, no, the other brother, Intelligence. Who's the brother? No. Why is Intelligence?
He's a good example.
Let me put Why is Intelligence business out here on blast. Why is Intelligence was on my radio station, and I've known Why is Intelligent for over 25 years. Why is Intelligence told me on his radio station, his brother gave him that name. He said that at that time he was neither wise nor intelligent, and that he's glad he got that name because he tried to live up to it. Wise Intelligent is one of the most beautiful brothers I ever met in my life. Most beautiful, brilliant brothers in my life. His music, his whole thing is incredible. So that's a beautiful brother, and that's what we have to do. We have to listen, we have to find our voice, we have to find our power. We got to open that third eye, and no force on this earth can stop it.
Rebel.
So how do you get people to unplug? Like you're talking about, like people are afraid, you know? Like when you think about revolutionaries and people that have stood up in history, they all got killed or assassinated. There's that fear. People don't want to give up certain material things or a way of thinking because of what might happen. You know? So how do you convince people to do that? When they have to pay bills, when they have to go to school, when they have to feed their kids, like how do you be
Everybody got to
revolutionary?
pay everybody got to pay bills. Everybody got to do everything. Nobody wants to die. I'm not telling anybody to die, I'm telling you to live. What I'm doing is giving you more power to live. Nobody has to stand up and stand in front of a bullet or a cop or, you know, jump into a gang warfare.
Or even speaking certain ways. If you look at Malcolm X or Martin Luther King, they weren't killed for anything violent. They never picked up
They were
guns.
afraid. They were afraid of their voice. They were afraid of their charisma. John Lennon also was killed because he was speaking out against the war. Bob Marley was killed, no matter what they tell you, because of his voice.
CIA.
Of course. So what I'm telling you is you don't have to do that, but it's about life and death. Can you live without raising your voice? Can you live while your people are not living? Can you live while your people are
Still be
hungry?
a zombie.
Yeah.
Like the
So
living
you're
dead.
not really alive.
Right.
If you get alive for 5 minutes and change anything, then your life had some value and some meaning. You know how many people I know that live in perpetual zombie land, or just predictability or boringness? Brother, look at me. I'm vital, and I love life so much, it manifests in every. Look at the people in this room. Why am I here? Why are they listening? Because I love life. I love the essence of life, and I'm sharing it. I don't want no, but we've already done that thing with the revolution and standing there and fighting the pigs, and, you know, we don't need that. We need to do, this is a technological time. Like Brother Muda Baruchu said, this is, what he said, this is the time of science and technology, no more living in mythology. We need to use that technology. We got the brightest and the best. We got young cats 10 years old that can hack into the Department of Defense and erase my criminal record. Come on. We can have people hack into the Department of Taxation and have them send me a bill every month for $10,000. Come on, we got brilliant people.
I figured it was very important for those in control and those in power to have control of the entertainment industry, because from my analyze, from my thing, I believe that art or entertainment is the actual key to the images, because we used to, thousands of years ago, we didn't write like this. We had images, like, you know, hieroglyphs and stuff, and like it imprints your mind. That's one of the reasons why I think that graffiti has never been accepted, right? Because it reminds you of Egypt and this and that. So, you know, they don't want that anything to do with any images, you know what I mean? So that's why they have to make sure they control the music industry and all that stuff, to make sure that they control the images. Because who controls the images? Back then it used to be the church that used to do that, right? But now they have the new thing.
Brother, whoever controls the images controls your mind.
Yeah.
That's why as a photographer, I'm one of the most dangerous cats in the world. Because I control my images. And they've tried to keep me, when I was in the music industry, they tried to keep me out of the way from the artists. The artists would come to me. I didn't have to go to them. And you couldn't not come to me because you wouldn't be in the magazines. You're not in the magazines, you don't sell records. So the artists came to the management came to me, they paid me, the magazines came to me, they paid me, I got paid by both sides, but I profited both sides. The magazines got access to the artists got access to the magazines. So I short-circuited that, and I did it, and each time an artist came, I taught them liberation and freedom. I taught them what it meant to be a slave. I taught them they were slaves, and I told them that their voice could change it. And I also told them that just like with reggae records, it could be the slackest thing on dancehall that ever existed, but each of those dancehall artists give one moment back to Jah on that record. If the record's 70 minutes long, they give 1 minute back to Jah. And I tell all these artists, I even told Tupac, if you're going to do an album talking about women and, you know, all that profanity and all that craziness, give 1 minute back to your people and 1 minute back to your creator. Tupac on one of his records, listen to me, he said, they got money for war and can't feed the poor. I heard that, I almost jumped out the window. They got money for war and can't feed the poor. 1 minute, one minute, that's all I ask. You got 70 minutes, Drake, you're talking about how pretty you are and yeah, how many, you know, how you take it in the butt and all that stuff. No, give 1 minute back to your people. When I told that to Tupac, he actually sat there in front of me and wrote it, and then he put it in a song. They got money for war and can't feed the poor. So all I'm asking these punk-ass artists to do is give 1 minute back to your community. Give one jewel in between all that dog shit. Give 1 minute in between the dog shit. Give 1 minute of jewelry back to the people. Jewels that they can plant. Things that they can think about.
Yeah.
KRS-One, over and over. He did the song "You Must Learn." Black Cop. Sound, whoop whoop. That's the sound of the beast. Whoop whoop. It's the sound of the police. Everybody understood.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, black cop, you don't even get paid a lot. Black cop, yeah. You know, put your gun on lock. You know, so KRS-One did it. Chuck D did it. Chuck D, in his song, he said he got Khalid Muhammad, my brother Khalid up there from the Nation of Islam. And he said, have you forgotten that once we were brought here, we were robbed of our name, we lost our religion, our culture, our God. And by the way we act, many of us have even lost our minds. So Chuck did it. Tupac did it. KRS did it. Everybody I talked to, I dared them not to put 1 minute back to their creator. I dared them not to put 1 minute back to the people, or I'd be up in their ass crease like a hemorrhoid. And they did it. And those that didn't do it are not here anymore. So everybody got to die. You can't fear dying. And you shouldn't fear living. I'm a revolutionary. I'm still here. And the thing now with the internet, we don't have a lot of things, but we got the internet. Back before, we didn't have a lot, but we had the little audio cassettes. We didn't have a lot, but we had the video cassettes. And now, look, there's 16 cameras here, and maybe there's only 16 people, but there's 16 cameras. That means that my words are going to go, even if they take me out here now and shoot me and kill me or put me under a bus, my words are still there.
Yeah.
And there's that, not just what I said, but there's that spirit of revolution.
Energy can't die.
And that energy can't die. I knew when I was about 9 or 10 years old, I went to school, you know, I couldn't learn too well, so I'm sitting in the class and the teacher's dap, 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 and I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm in my own world. And the teacher said, would you like to share your thoughts with us? And I said, yeah, one day I'm going to be a famous artist. Of course, everybody laughed, but that's what I was thinking. I was being honest. And then later, the teacher said something, and I was about 9 or 10 years old, and from that day, I should have never gone back to school again. The teacher said something that profoundly changed my life and gave me power. The teacher said, energy can never be created or destroyed. So somebody raised their hand and I said, what do you mean? You can't create energy? No. They tell you right there in science. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It can just be transmitted. Yeah. Right there, after that, I was no good in school. There was nothing, shit, I didn't need to know shit more. There was nothing else I needed to know.
One of the greatest truths.
Energy can either be created or destroyed. After that, I was fine. I didn't need nothing. I didn't need nobody. I didn't need to know nobody. I didn't need to know nothing. And the rest just happened. I believed I found my power, and I'm here. You all need to find your power, and you look for it, and you find it, and it will transform your life. Sometimes you can find it in between the arms of a woman. Sometimes you can find it in the face of a child. Sometimes you can find it in church or your religion. Sometimes you can find it when you're in the bottom of prison with some pig cop kicking your ass.
When Malcolm X changed from prison. I'm pretty sure that was that, right, Rebel? Yeah. Malcolm X changed from prison.
Yeah, it was prison.
Yeah.
Remember that.
Sometimes negatives can turn positive. Most times, actually, negatives can turn positive if you take the time to reflect.
I was in the military and I found out that they had written up something about me. They said the man has a surplus of charisma. I was 19 years old. I didn't know what charisma was. I didn't know if that was a medical diagnosis, a psychological diagnosis. I'd never heard the word before. 19 years old, never heard the word.
Mm.
And there was no dictionaries on the ship. We didn't have internet. And I asked a couple people, what's charisma? Oh, that's when you don't use a condom. I was like, okay. How the hell I get that? You know, I didn't know what it was, charisma.
Charisma is something you can't buy.
You can't buy it. It's like energy. It's there. He has a surplus of charisma. He should be watched. Well, I hope you're watching. But they've been watching me, but they haven't figured out how to stop me.
The reason why, because you're not tying up in the systems. When you go
That's
sign
right.
their contracts and stuff, that's when you start
That's
tie up
right.
in it. When you don't tie up none of that, you know what I mean? Like all
Plus,
these
I'm not
rappers.
teaching violent revolution.
No, you're not at all.
Revolution is where you go in a circle. Who the hell wants to go in a circle? We want to advance and uplift.
Evolution instead of revolution.
In evolution, there's two parts. There's natural evolution and there's spiritual evolution, which raises all the other situations. For the first time in our life, like I said, we're at that crossroads of technology.
But there's ways of flipping it back, like you said on
Yeah,
the jump.
yeah.
I mean, we can't just see the
We can
technology
hack in and
as
start
against
getting
us.
checks.
We gotta bring it back. Bring it
We
back.
can hack in and erase my criminal records, my parking tickets, all my alleged offenses against the beast that calls itself the government. Well, that's not what the government meant to me. But, you know, we have all that. Young people, I would say, learn computers, but don't let computers learn you.
Yeah.
And I would tell young people to use that power, man. Use all that educational tools. Study computers, study everything. Find ways to hack the hackers. The government wants to watch you, find ways to watch them.
Look at what you were saying about that guy from
WikiLeaks.
That guy, they're trying
Yeah.
to deal with that guy. Right?
Yeah, they accused him of rape. He had sex with 3 women, and what they did was they got the 3 women to say he had unprotected sex with them. How the hell does that become a sexual offense? So they accused him of rape. And none of the women will stand up and say he raped him. They went to bed with him. They spent the weekend with him.
Mm-hmm.
How the hell long can you rape a woman? For 3 or 4 days? 3 different women that willingly went to bed with him? And his name is Assange, and they're trying to get him in 5 or 6 or 7 nations are trying to get him for rape charges.
Mm-hmm.
They don't even get you for murder charges in that many countries.
I mean, that's what I said about
And,
Michael
and I
Jackson.
saw one of the women say, no, we were going out for about 6 months. Did he rape you? Hell no. Then what's the problem? Oh, he had unprotected sex with me. I said, well, you had unprotected sex with him or he had unprotected sex with you? Oh, we had unprotected sex with each other. I'm like, wait a minute. And they accuse him of rape, and now he's an international fugitive.
He's in
Come on.
Ecuador embassy.
Yeah, Ecuador gave him a break. But my thing is, come on, people. Every time, I'll teach you guys a trick. Anyone they tell you is your enemy is your friend.
I agree.
And anyone they tell you is your
I
friend
agree.
is your enemy.
Same thing with science. When it comes to science and knowledge and engineering,
Yeah.
every time they told me don't look at it, I run to it. Every time they give me, I fling it back at them. I agree, 100%.
Oh, no.